Yeah, Jack, I think we'll just
3 more to go, ain't we?
yeah, we just got 2, I believe, and it won't take us long to get them up, you know. Oh, this is good, you know, Maggard's got a good sound here and they work good with you and everything. And I don't think we'll have any trouble at all. Well, I guess we're ready if y'all will just be quiet just a second. Yeah, you got it there. Kick it off again now, John. Let's run through it just like we're going to.
Speed on that.
Yeah.
Is that right there?
I believe that's about right. We don't want to get it too fast. David, you ready to try one to see how it sounds? Okay. I believe it's going to come together, friends and neighbors. I don't know.
Roll.
Someday our last goodbye on earth will all be over, and the journey of life will be through. But before we say goodbye and the chain of life is broken, will you make me this promise too? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to say a great big howdy to you and welcome you to our 26th annual Memorial Bluegrass Festival. Thank you. And I've been waiting on this 50 years. This is my 50 years in bluegrass music. I really don't look that old, huh? Oh, how, what do you want?
We're going to give you a whole lot of surprises this weekend.
What are you going to do to me now?
Right now, we got 2 people from the Wise County Chamber of Commerce that's
Okay.
going to do something to you.
You've been eating onions.
Got any onions?
I said you've been eating onions.
Yes, sir. I've been eating them.
Okay.
I've been eating soup beans.
They're good.
You know that, didn't you?
I just wondered.
You got a good nose on him, I'll tell you that.
Okay, bring that Chamber of Commerce out. We,
Them onions are good, too.
Yeah, they're good. Give them a nice hand.
Those of us working for travel and tourism are grateful for this type of event and are very honored to pay a very, very special tribute to this person for his life's work. In the early years, he and his brother Carter performed as a duo and won stardom in their own right. After Carter's death, he continued their work in music and went on to achieve new heights of stardom on his own. Let's welcome Southwest Virginia's own bluegrass great, Dr. Ralph Stanley.
Appreciate it. And folks, if any of you are staying at the Holiday Inn, Chester here is the manager of the Holiday Inn. If he don't treat you right, well, see him. Okay?
I saw some folks right down there on the front row earlier today.
Okay. Will you just lay that back there for me? Okay.
Thank you.
I really appreciate that. You know, things like that makes you feel good, you know, makes you think you've done something worthwhile. All that 50 years has not been wasted. Hope not. Thank you. Right here is a young man. August the 20th, he'll be 18 years old. And girls, if any of you might be interested, he's never been married. Of course, there's not too much difference in murdered and married. If you get murdered, you're gone real quick. If you get married, you sort of ooze out. And he is my son, Ralph Stanley II. He does our lead singing. My hand part.
With her old man, she came from Tipperary in the pioneer days of 42. Her old man was shot in Tucson City by the making of this good old mountain. Oh, come on down the mountain, Canada. Come on down the mountain, Katy do. Ain't just call Katy Daly. We wanna drink your good old Mountain Dew. So to the jam took for Katy Daly. Very soon the gates are open wide. Angels came to poor Katy Daly. Took her far across the great divide. Oh, come on down the mountain, Katy Daly. Come on down the mountain, Katy do. Ain't just call Katy Daly. We wanna drink your old Mountain Dew. Wake up and pay attention, Katy Daly. I am the judge who's gonna sentence you. And all the boys at court is drunk your liquor. Tell the truth and drink a little too. Oh, come on down the mountain, Katy Daly. Come on down the mountain, Katy do. Ain't just calling Katy Daly. We wanna drink your good old Mountain Dew. Since that time, the achieved a few awards he's very proud of. To name a few, in 1976, he received the Doctor of Arts degree given to him by the Lincoln Memorial University in Harrogate, Tennessee. In 1984, he's presented with the National Heritage Award given to him by the President of the United States. Give him a nice hand for that.
Thank you. Good, good. Tell them more. Keep bragging on me.
Huh?
Tell them more.
Doing my best.
Keep on.
1993, he received the Best Event in Bluegrass Music for Saturday night and Sunday morning. And this, March of 1994, he was nominated for 3 Grammys. One was with Dwight Yoakam for Country Collaboration of the Year. He's the first man in bluegrass music ever to be nominated in the country category. Give him a nice hand for that. He's a member of the Bluegrass Hall of Honor and the Bluegrass Hall of Fame. So now, if you would, make welcome one half of the original Stanley Brothers, my father, Dr. Ralph Stanley. Give him a nice hand.
Well, the road looks rough and rocky that I travel day by day, but I feel at the end of my journey I'll see the great Milky Way. I cannot sing like an angel and I cannot preach like Paul, but Lord, when you get ready, I'll try to answer the call.
Hey, you Ralph.
All right, how are you making it?
Doing pretty good.
Good. Thank you, man. Appreciate
Could
it.
you put on there from one doctor to another? This is to my friend that just graduated from medical school.
From one what?
From one doctor to another.
No.
Very much.
You can wait with this if you want. That's fine too.
15.
Stand down.
One.
I didn't know that you had your degree. That is so.
One doctor to another. Pass around that long neck bottle, we'll all get on a spree. For today was the last of that Wild Bill Jones, tomorrow's the last of me. Go away, little Maggie. Go and do the best you can. I'll get me another woman. You can get you another man. Thanks again, folks. Thank you.
lovely.
Well, Mr. Stanley has been so gracious to come out and join us.
Are we close to in tune here? Let's see. I'm in G.
I'm honored that he would come out and do it with me. Now, it's called Miner's Prayer.
Good too, Dwight. Real glad to have you out here with us.
When the whistle blows each morning, and I walk down in that cold dark mine, I say a prayer to my dear Savior. Oh, please let me see the sunshine one more time. When will it be over? When will I let it burn down? When I die, dear Lord in heaven, please take my soul from me that cold dark ground. I still grieve for my poor brother, and I still hear my dear old mother cry. When late that night, they came and told her he'd lost his life down in the Big Show mine. When, oh, when will it be over? When will I let it burn down? And when I die, dear Lord in heaven, please take my soul from me that cold dark ground.
Ralph's voice to me sounds as if an archangel is back on this earth singing and articulating, emotion through song. Ralph, his voice, even at a young age, sounded seasoned, and now sounds, in the most flattering way that I can say it, ancient, and sounds timeless, and echoes of the spirit of everybody that's ever gone before him in these hills and mountains.
Hit me a beat. I am a man of constant sorrow. I've seen trouble all my days. I bid farewell to old Kentucky, the state where I was born and raised. For 6 long years I've been in trouble. No pleasure here on earth I find. For in this world I'm bound to ramble. I have no friends to help me now.
This music comes from the heart when they sing.
Yeah, they have to like it, or I don't believe they'd stand out there
No.
in the cold and everything and play it while us fools are sitting out there in the cold watching it. So it has to come from the heart.
It's the roots of the southern people, mostly.
The
Appalachian region through here. And that's where the bluegrass music originated from.
It's about the good times, the bad times.
The Clinch mountain sound. There's no sound like the Clinch mountain sound.
That's where that sound come from, and that's where he wanted to keep it. That's where he got the idea of the sound of the music they play. It come from the mountains, like the dogs a barking, the hoot owls a hollering, and it was just a sound that was different from any other sound, and that's why he didn't want to take it to no other place, because he could have never got that sound anywhere else other than in the mountains and the hills of home where him and Carter was born and raised.
My dad built this barn, and of course, it don't look like it now, but at that time, it was one of the best, if not the best barn in this part of the country, anywhere. And of course, we had the loft up here, and there was about, I guess, 4 or 5 or 6 stalls here at the petitioned off. And then there's one was a feed room where we kept our feed. So we kept our cows in here, and we kept some horses. And every morning, about 4 o'clock, I'd have to get up and bring an old lantern and come up here and milk the cows. We had an old cow named Pied. She was black and white, and her tail had froze off, and it just hung down about halfway. And if you didn't watch while you were sitting there milking, she'd switch that tail and hit you in the head with it, and it didn't feel too good. But that was before daylight, and then I'd go back and eat breakfast, and then head out to school. Of course, at that time, we didn't know there was such a thing as bathrooms and electric lights, refrigerators, and things like that. And it was, of course, it was rough, but we didn't know anything else. And I think about it often, and sometimes I think I'd like to go back to them days for about 30 days, which you can't, and then could just switch it right back. I'm holding here my old banjo, 1927. I've owned this banjo about 45 years, and I've recorded over 100, maybe 100, 110 long play albums with it. Of course, this is not the one I learned on. I learned on an old backless. It didn't have this resonator on it, and just an old-time banjo that my mother bought for me from my aunt. Her name was Roxy Smith. They lived just below us there. And my mother tuned it up and showed me the lick that she got, and I called it the clawhammer style. And she taught me an old tune called Shout Little Lully. And of course, I've recorded that and played it all over the world since. But along I was probably 16, 17 years old. Well, I got me a fiddle, and I sort of learned to play the fiddle. And a lot of times on Saturday nights, we'd go to neighbors' houses. They'd invite us, and I don't know how good it was, but she'd play the banjo, and I'd try to play the fiddle. But I don't attempt that anymore, but I can remember back them days now, and I'll play you a little of that tune that she learned me to do, taught me to do. Right now, that's Shout Little Lully. Carter was discharged, I believe, around February of 1946, and he was playing with another group, and I was discharged in October of that same year, 16th October. I sung a song with him on the radio before I got home. Yeah. He picked me up at Bristol at the bus station, took me to the radio station in Norton, Virginia. And so I joined that band for about 2 weeks, and I didn't like the way everything went, and I told Carter if he wanted to organize her own group, I'd be glad to and would like to, but if I didn't, I wasn't going to play in another band. So we did. We organized her own group. But we started an hour and 5 minutes of a program called Farm and Fun Time. Well, I was scared to death. I didn't know what to think. Radio was much more important back then than TV is now, because there were very few radio stations in them days. I believe the first show we played was about 2 weeks after we started that program in Bristol, and we had 2 packed houses on a Saturday night in Belfast, Virginia. And from then on, well, we just couldn't find auditoriums big enough to take care of the crowd. Places that have to get the state police to get the traffic out after the shows of the night. And then we did, if it was a small auditorium, we've done as high as 4 shows in one night.
Come, little girl, let's go get married. I love you so great, I can't hide me. I'll work for you. At my wedding, a little wife to be. Oh, Willie dear, us both consider we're both too young to be married now. When we're married, we're bound together. Let's stay single just once more year.
Well, we stayed there 3 or 4 years, and of course, you know, you can get tired, you can wear out anything. You can eat too much chocolate pie, and things begin to get a little leaner. So we went to different places. We went to Shreveport, Louisiana, and Huntington, West Virginia, and just Raleigh, North Carolina, and different radio stations.
And then rock and roll came along in the late 50s. Of course, the king of rock and roll, the great Elvis Presley. I love all kinds of music. I didn't have anything against rock and roll, but I'll tell you one thing, he sure took a lot of beans and taters off in our plates, because he was the king of rock and roll, and it kind of set bluegrass back just a little bit. Of course, the teenagers picked up rock and roll. It was a new sound, but even Elvis Presley liked bluegrass music. Even he recorded some of Bill Monroe's great numbers, like Blue Moon in Kentucky was the #1 hit, My Little Cabin Home on the Hill. So that shows you that bluegrass music has always been something that people loved and people always want to take a part of.
But I know there's times back in the 50s when Carter and Ralph would come to Giles and Pulaski County, and they wouldn't even make enough to pay for their gas. That was back before bluegrass, you know, got real famous. We'd have them come to our house when we'd fix supper for them. My mother would have them to come home. But there was times that they didn't make enough to pay them to get back home on.
It paralyzed us. You couldn't get a decent date. I mean, we were playing like for the little one-room schools and things back in the hills and hollers, you know, where the banjo was still appreciated. And then we'd have little dances, you know, and things like cakewalks and things to try to get a little extra money at those little schoolhouses.
Could you love me one more time with a love that really is mine? We've waited so long, they say you've gone on. Have I lost you forever?
Well, they played it out, you know. They'd made 3 or 4 rounds through it, and it's like eating chocolate candy, you know. I love it, but I get enough of it, and it fizzled out. And then the TV came in over there, and we worked that a little while, and it wasn't all that lush.
Well, a single girl goes to the store and buys. Oh, goes to the store and buys. But a married girl rocks that cradle and cries. Oh, rocks the cradle and cries. Do a little banjo picking here. Brother Ralph will take care of that. We let him play one once in a while. And don't anybody write in and request him to play again, because we're paying him all we can stand. Now, I believe you're going to play the Clinch Mountain backstep. Is that right? Right.
Best I remember, this was taken around 1966, and the young man there is Billy Stanley. That's Carter's son. He was traveling with us during that time on a little tour we had. Fellow in the red shirt there was George Shuffler, that worked with the Stanley Brothers a long time. And there is Carter with Norma Fannon's son. She was vice president of the fan club at that time. He always liked kids, and he was cutting up with the little boy there. There's my mother with her apron on there. The kitchen was her favorite place, and I'll guarantee she was getting ready or cooking something up for us to eat that day. And the 2 little children there, I guess they are Norma Fannon's, a little girl and boy, as far as I can remember. But she's taking care of she's got something to cooking in that kettle, and she's seeing to it and taking good care of it. Because she always liked to cook. We'd come in at 2 o'clock in the morning, or 3, she would get up and have to cook us something to eat. She thought we needed something to eat. Sometimes I helped her cook, I guess, and I was probably going to try to help her a little there that day, cooking, I guess. And we had green beans, and we'd can beans, pickle corn. And she really knew how to cook it, and it was pure back in them days. It wasn't a lot of the food you find today. Well, we must know we're getting film there. We're happy, aren't we?
Yeah, looks like it.
Yeah. Carter's found him a biscuit there. See, he's taking him about there. I figured he was hungry when he came in there. He hardly ever done any much of the cooking or helping in the kitchen anyway, but until it all got ready, and then he would come in and always take a seat at the table. Yeah, there's something. It's probably a pork roast, or might be green beans, or just anything. Beef roast. I'll guarantee it was something good. Of course, there's the house that we lived in there. That's a new house I built for my mother after the old house burned. That was her old home place. She was raised there. The old house had been tore down years ago. It was an old log house. I don't remember ever seeing it.
In the deep rolling hills, Virginia, there's a place I love so well, where I spent many days of my childhood, in the cabin where we loved to dwell.
See the old haystacks up there in the field? That's the way we used to put hay up. There wasn't any balers. We mowed it and raked it up and put them up by hand with a hay fork.
We were all so happy there together in our peaceful little mountain home. But the Savior needs angels up in heaven. Now they sing around the great white throne. White dove will mourn in sorrow. The willows will hang their head. I live my life in sorrow since mother and daddy are dead.
Carter left the stage. We just got it open. I went back. I said, "You ought to saw Carter back there vomiting blood." He'd been in declining health for a couple of years, and a lot of times he didn't feel like going on stage, and so he. Dr. Mungle was his doctor, one of the finest old doctors you ever saw in your life, and just a jewel of a man, prince of a man. And he loved what we were doing because he was an old-time banjo player himself. And he took all the pains in the world, you know. And I think he said that he ran 120 pints of blood through Carter and just put a clamp on that big artery there that had ruptured going to his liver. The doctor came in and told us that said it looked like there's little hope there. Said Carter looked like he's taking blood now. His veins are opening up and taking blood. And Ralph said, "George, let's go down here to this little diner and get us something to eat," because we hadn't eaten all night. So we went down there and we stayed, you know, probably 20, 30 minutes, something like that. There wasn't a crowd in there. We just ordered, they served, and we ate and come on back. And I smoked back then. We was coming up the hall and I was smoking, and we got back up on the floor there next to the room, and there was a waiting room there. And Ralph said, "George, you go ahead and just finish your cigarette, and I'll step in here and check on Carter just for a minute." I said, "All right." Well, Ralph went in there, and he stayed a little bit, and he come back out. Didn't stay long at all. And he came back out. He said, "George Carter's died." Well, that just, by then they just wasn't nobody but just the nurses, because me and Ralph was the only two there, and they didn't want us to go back in there, evidently, you know. So they called them from everywhere, you know, come to room so-and-so, come to room so-and-so. And they got in there, and they stayed about 10 minutes, I reckon, and as a nurse came out, and Ralph and I was sitting over there, and she looked at us real, well, just as if to say, he's gone. And so then the doctor came out and told us, "Well, boys, he's gone." And
miss me when I'm gone. Oh, will you miss me when I'm gone? Will you miss me when I'm gone? Will you miss me when I'm gone?
I was a pallbearer at the funeral, and they had to have it down in the school there. They couldn't have it up in a church there. No, it wouldn't hold people. They estimated this, I forget now how many thousand people they said were 5, 6, 8,000, something like that there. I know I had a brother that was on the police force here in Morganton, and he went up and directed traffic all day, and it was so cold you couldn't see. Bill Monroe, he flew in. Somebody went over to Bristol and picked him up, and he sang at the funeral there, you know. "Swing low, sweet chariot." And he'd bring a tear to a glass eye. I'm telling you what, it was mournful. Then we had to take him back up on the hill to bury him up there, and it was, man, I thought we'd freeze to death carrying him in front of the house there where they backed to up there well, maybe we backed him up a little farther on it, but there's still ice and snow everywhere. You couldn't hardly stand up. And we come home, after the funeral. And then we didn't know what to do. Ralph called me in about 4 or 5 days, 3 or 4 days, something like that, less than a week anyway. He said, George, he said, we might as well face it. He said, we're going to have to do it sooner or later. He said, we got dates, and said, we just might as well go ahead and do them. So I said, all right, I'm ready.
Of course, Carter always did, he was the front man. He did the MC work and all of the front work while I was keeping books and sort of working in the background, but still I was busy too. And I guess a year before he passed away, sometimes he'd leave the stage and just leave it blank, and if I didn't get up and go up and start talking, why, it was just left blank. Well, he done that. I believe he thought he wasn't going to be around long, and he wanted to sort of get me exposed to it. And by the time I started on my own in '67, why, I'd had a little experience, and of course I heard Curly Ray Klein he played a few shows before Carter died, and we had Melvin Goins. He played Melvin Goins, and he played a comedy part, Big Wilbur. And I heard Larry Sparks. He was my first lead singer in 1967.
I think I was 19, maybe 18 or 19. You know, I felt very lucky to be able to obtain a job like that at a young age, and especially singing lead for Ralph Stanley. He can make anybody sound good.
Darling, do you really love me? Are you the girl I used to know? Something's happened to you, darling, but it pleases me to know.
It was to be kept simple. That was made clear pretty quick, which to play, not hot noted up, and keep it simple and down to earth.
Life is sweet when love is blooming, like a wild rose on a hill. But when lovers part forever, where in the end no one can tell.
It takes a powerful singer, a good singer, to be able to hold your own with Ralph. I guess his tenor singing is so different, and it kind of leads when you sing with him. He'll lead the way with his tenor. He's got his own way of doing it, and he had that sound no matter who was singing with him. And you could have me singing, you could have 2 or 3 others, and you'd have to really nitpick to know who we was, maybe because he stood out so much more.
When our journey here is ended and this life on earth is done, we'll be sweethearts up in heaven. For me, I know you're the one.
Something like maybe Rank Stranger, for instance. It's simple, but it's then not simple either. That's a little different than George or Bill would have played it. I've got a little different pull to it. I think maybe they would have went, or Shuffler would have went. More of that style of playing.
Along around 1970, there was some new bands that came out, and they were changing it around a little bit. Not too much at that time, but instead of me coming forward and getting more fancier, I'd call it, with it, why, I sort of went back farther than even the Stanley Brothers did. I was the first group to sing a cappella in bluegrass music. That's when you don't use any instruments. no coffins will be made up there, no graves on that bright shore. The doctor will not have to call, the undertakers know.
Well, Ralph, he was raised in a Baptist church, you know, where they didn't believe in music, you know, in the singing in church, you know, like that. So we decided to start doing that, Ralph did. And we first started doing just a cappella, you know, with no music. And then later on, he started lining them like they did in church, like Amazing Grace and stuff like that. So Ralph was the first one to ever do that. And then all the other bands, they started doing it after we started doing it.
Bright shining as the sun, bright shining as the sun, just as long to sing God's praise. I guess maybe my voice was a little bit more, had more of a mountain sound actually than I did with Carter, and I took the lead singers back to a little bit more back in the mountains, I guess you'd call it. Real proud to have him with us. He was born and raised in eastern Kentucky, way back in the sticks, a little town called Sandy Hook. Let's make welcome Colonel Keith Whitley. Big hand for him.
It makes no difference where I wander, no matter what I say or do. I can't outlive this memory of you, and I'll cry, dear, when I think of you. Somehow you wouldn't let me love you. The plans we made have gone astray. Instead of being blue and lonely, I just think I'll go away.
In 1970, I was playing a place in just across the river from Louisa, Kentucky, in West Virginia there. And I was late. I had a flat and I was late and get to the show, probably 45 minutes. And when I got there, I heard some music inside the building. And I opened the door. You know, at first I thought it was Stanley Brothers records playing. And I opened the door and looked in. There's two young gentlemen standing on the stage with a mandolin and a guitar, singing the old Stanley Brothers songs. Well, I didn't know what to think, because it sounded so much like the Stanley Brothers did. So I just sat down and watched them do two or three, and it was Ricky Skaggs and Keith Whitley.
Too much beer and wine, too many good times. The lure of a honky-tonk wrecked her young life.
Thank you, Ralph. You're the best. You rule. Thank you, Ralph. God bless you. Thanks, folks. We'll see you. Thanks a lot.
I saw potential, especially in Keith and Ricky, and I wanted to help them. I wanted to see the music go on. And then, of course, they helped my band out, too.
I was up here at the festival playing one time with Dad's group, and Ralph told me one time, he said, Junior, said, tell you what, said, you keep playing that guitar. He said, maybe one of these days I'll need a guitar player. And that really shocked me, you know. I really took that deep to heart, and that really inspired me, made me want to learn that much harder.
I was 16 when I was hired, and then I was playing in a band called the Goins Brothers Band, who you're familiar with. I was playing lead guitar in that band. And I was almost 17 when Ralph hired me, and I think I worked out my notice with the Goins Brothers, and I was just turned 17 when I went to work.
I was 17. right out of high school. You know, just a little old barefoot boy out of Dickinson County here, never been hardly out of the town of Hayside, you know. And I guess Bristol was the biggest place I had ever saw, you know, as a boy growing up. And going into the big cities and stuff and playing and things, it was really quite a feat for me, you know, and it was real interesting. And you know, I learned as I went.
One of the first trips I went with Ralph, we were sitting in a steakhouse. I got some coffee. Well, I went to the bathroom. I came back and I took a drink of my coffee, and it was just pure salt, you know. It was filled half full of salt, and I didn't know what to do. And you know, I suspected Ralph had salted my coffee, but I knew Ralph Stanley wouldn't salt my coffee. But I was drinking the coffee, and Ralph was sitting there and he's watching me, and Ralph took a drink of coffee and he said, "Boys, see, my coffee's a little salty," Ralph said. And I said, "I don't know, mine's okay, Ralph, I believe, you know." But there was always something going on. To be honest with you, a lot of what I remember about the road is being tired all the time, especially during the summer, because we had brutal overnight trips to make, and Ralph, you know, could handle it fairly well. But when I first started, especially, I was accustomed to getting a little sleep, you know, and eating occasionally. But sometimes, I mean, I remember one time we traveled. I forget how long it took us, but it was dangerously short time from Sacramento, California to Florida somewhere, you know, for a show. And Ralph stopped in Louisiana and went in and got some bologna and light bread and came out and threw it down and said, there boys, there's your dinner. And on we went. And there was a fair amount of that. I remember being a little bit tired, and I've told other people, one thing, this gives me a big advantage. People say, what did you learn from Ralph? And I've thought and I've thought and I've thought. I've learned a lot of things from Ralph, but one thing I've learned is I don't need 9 hours sleep and 3 meals a day. And a lot of people think they do, but I learned real quick that I didn't need that to get by, and I think that's given me a little advantage against others who don't feel likewise.
So we got a wonderful bus now, and this makes it a lot easier traveling like that. In the station wagons, you sit there, when you pull into a place to play like that, or stop, it'd take you 15 minutes to get your back straightened up, where you're stiff, you know, because you just sat there in one spot, you know, you couldn't move, 3 in the seat. Some of us was heavy back then. I was heavy back then. Curly Ray, he was heavy back then, bless his heart. And Ralph, he wasn't real light. So we had some pretty good ones in there, you know, and it took up all the room, you know. You just sit down and you sit right there till you stopped again. So that was a hard times back then.
I traced the little footprints in the snow. I found the little footprints in the snow, Lord. God bless that happy day that Nellie lost her way, for I found her when the snow was on the ground.
Thank you. Don't give Mr. Cook too big a hand, because if you do, he'll want a raise, and I can't afford to pay him anymore. Jack, that's real fine, though. Footprints in the snow. Ladies and gentlemen, move your cameras over now to the other side of the stage with the gentleman there with the old-time fiddle. And when I say the old-time fiddle, I think he's one of the greatest. He's been a-playing now for many, many years, been all over the country, and I know you're going to enjoy him here tonight. The harder you applaud for him, the harder he's going to work for you. From Rock House, Kentucky, that's Pike County, the old Kentucky fox hunter, Colonel Curly Ray Klein.
Ralph has fun watching what's going on, and he'll comment on it, but he'll do it with his eyes. And if you're watching him real closely, you can see when something's going on that speaks to his interest. Ralph and Curly Ray Klein, who worked in the band the entire time I was in the band, they had a lot of that going on. What some people would call foolishness back and forth all the time, but it kept them sane probably. And there's sometimes you just have to laugh and go on about your business, and that is what they end up doing many times.
Thank you. Curly Ray Klein, the old Kentucky folk song. I can't stand here and take all the credit and all the rewards without giving Curly something. I was going to present it to him, but I don't believe I can. Somebody backstage bring out something now and let's make Curly smile or cry one. I'd say you'll do a little bit of both. Somebody bring it out.
Curly. It says to Curly Ray Klein, 20 years of dedicated service.
Ralph, I want to thank you from my heart. I can't.
Let's hear it. Jordan, you ready here?
Curly Ray. Curly Ray was one of the best people I ever met. He's always funny to be around. Played a real good fiddle. Sung a lot of good comedy songs. And I miss him real bad today, you know. As right now, I mean, I miss him. We went to his wake, you know, when he died, you know, and sung some songs. That was the last thing anybody could do for him, you know.
Friends, there's so many things that I could say about this man, but I'm real tender-hearted. So we'll go ahead and sing a little first, and maybe I can do better in a minute. What about this? You have a friend, Gloria, and hit me a quarter of a key. If you have friends in glory land who left because of pain, thank God up there they'll die no more. They'll suffer not again. Then weep
I'm going home. Up there we'll die no more. No coffins will be made up there. No graves on that broad shore. The doctor will not have to call. The undertakers know there'll be no pain up there to bear. Just walk the streets of gold. Then weep not, friends, I'm going home. Curly Ray traveled with me 26 and a half years. Back when my brother Carter passed away, I had two ways to go, up or down. And he's one of the men that helped me go up. The darkness deepens, Lord, within me. I'm bound so tight in Satan's chain. Each day that passes is in sorrow. My loss would be the devil's gain. Come on, girls. Somebody's going. We'll run through it now. The darkness deepens, Lord, within me. I'm bound so tight in Satan's chain. Each day that passes is in sorrow. My loss would be the devil's gain. Temptations are knocking at my door now, with promises of gold and easy gain. Don't let me fall in his grip long, but free me from old Satan's chain. The darkness deepens, Lord, within me. I'm bound so tight in Satan's chain. Each day that passes is in sorrow. My loss would be the devil's gain.
That's the Love Brothers.
Oh, mercy. Here, you tell them who that is, Jenny.
You tell them you're the one doing the talking. I'll just sit back and listen, let you.
Who is that, Nathan?
Since I was doing the kissing.
Grandma and Papa. Bill and Papa.
Okay.
He looks like he's enjoying it.
Did I move it too
like
quick?
He's enjoying it. He threw that away real fast.
No, I held it a long time.
That's a good one.
That looks like two young people there. I don't know hardly know who that is. Can you remember?
Yeah, you know. Tell them all about it.
No, you tell them who that is.
No,
Who's
tell 'em all
this?
about it.
Who's that?
That's you.
How'd I look there? Pretty good?
Yeah, you look good.
That
When I
over there,
first met you, though, that's
Over
a
there
different
is-
story. That's
over
me.
there
I
is,
was. That's 3 years after I met you.
You was about 24
I was 20
years
when I
old.
met you. Yeah.
You were 23 years old there then.
Yeah, I remember real well. He never took his eyes off of me. Now you go ahead and tell it the rest.
That's about all there are to it.
No, there's more than that.
How do you think she ever got me?
I have no idea.
Don't you think she is lucky? Huh?
I ain't saying.
Don't you think she is lucky, Steve?
I'm telling you.
Go ahead and go ahead and tell what you said.
No, I don't know anything else. I forgot.
You know, you remember.
I can explain something in about 3 or 4 words. More than most people can talk all day. Huh?
But you can't tell as much in them words.
Good morning, folks.
Is that all right?
I guess my biggest crop was tomatoes.
Tomatoes?
At gobs of it.
Yeah, I always have pretty good luck with tomatoes, but what, did you have more than you needed, or?
Well, we raised so many, it was unreal.
What did you do with it?
What?
What did you do with the tomatoes?
Well, me and Elmira, we eat what we can, then what we can't, what we can.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
I told Ralph, I said, Ralph, when you go to get on stage after Van der Law, I said, son, don't let them put all that makeup on you like they did me. Because they're going to hardly recognize you. They didn't hardly recognize me. I went out there and the people stood and they looked like they was dumbfounded.
Real good.
But anyway, what was I saying?
About the makeup. About the makeup.
Yeah, and I said, Ralph, don't let them put all that makeup on you.
But it's okay, right?
Oh, Polly, pretty Polly, would you take me unkind? Polly, pretty Polly, would you take me unkind? You to sit beside me and tell me you're mine.
Well, my mind is to marry and never to part. My mind is to marry and never to part. The first time I saw you, you wounded my heart.
You know, he's such a soulful singer, and he has this mournful sound in his voice, and this ache, and this crying, and it really does something to me. I don't know if you noticed when we started trying to do the song, that as soon as he started singing, there was tears swelling up in my eyes. It's just because he makes me feel that way.
Well, Polly, pretty Polly, your guess is about right. Polly, pretty Polly, your guess is about right. I dug on your grave the biggest part of last night.
Well, he led her a little farther, and what did she spy? He led her a little farther, and what did she spy? The new dug grave with a spade lying by.
I used to think those songs were so sad that the Stanley Brothers did, but now I've come to realize that they're very soulful and had a lot of meaning within the songs, and there was a specialness to the music. There was this magic in the music that they made.
Jealousy has took my young life, all for the love of another man's wife. I've had it coming, I've known all the time. No more stone walls and steel bars, are you on my mind? Stone walls and steel bars, a love on my mind. I'm a three-time loser, I'm long gone this time.
You know how Hank Williams has such a universal appeal? Everybody thinks Hank's good. And everybody that hears a Hank Williams song can get a little something out of it, even if they don't get all the same things, but they can hear that it's real, and they can hear the hurt, they can hear the joy, they can hear all of that in there. I think that's the way it is with Ralph, even though people who aren't from that area, the hills, where that music comes from, can pick up on that sentiment, that feeling.
I don't know where to go.
We always follow your lead.
Hey, Ralph.
So.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Well, Lord have mercy.
You didn't know I was going to be here, did you, Ralph?
You can see anything when you don't have your gun, can't you? How you doing?
Real good. Glad to be here with you.
Good to see you. Good to see you. This Jim Williams used to play with us a long time. That's my wife, Jimmy.
Well, pleased to meet you. Yes, all right. Yeah, we're glad to be here with you, Ralph.
Well, it's real good to see you. How you been getting along?
Been doing real good.
You look,
doing real
well,
good.
you're looking real good. Yeah. Looking real.
All right.
Okay.
And I've thought all those years, you're the only one who's really kept the ties to the old time.
Well, thank you.
And I think that's wonderful. You know,
I'll keep it as long as I'm in it.
Huh?
I'll keep it as long as I'm,
I know you will.
I'm
I
playing.
think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Let me get it.
50 years, isn't that something?
How y'all doing?
Congratulations.
Thank you. Good to see you.
This is my wife, Suzanne.
How are you, Suzanne? Good to meet you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, Tex.
How you doing,
How you doing,
Ralph?
Tex?
You done a good job on that opera, buddy.
Well, thank you.
We watched you.
Howdy.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We watched you.
Howdy,
Before
Mert.
we come up.
How you doing? Well, thank you. I'm glad you did.
How you doing, Ralph?
Doing fine. How you doing?
Doing just fine.
Real good. Good to see you.
Dear Dr. Ralph, stop. The fields have turned brown, stop. Not for you, though, stop. Happy anniversary, stop. You will live forever. Best wishes, Bob Dylan. The Stanleys really did come from the heart of the Appalachian Mountains. Their mother did play the old-time clawhammer banjo, and their father really did sing old ballads and church songs. They all attended the McClure Primitive Baptist Church, where instruments were forbidden and where the song leader would line out the hymns, and where your harmony had better be true and on the mark, because there was nothing to cover it up with.
We proudly congratulate our father, Ralph Stanley, on his 50 years in bluegrass music. First of all, I'd like to thank the good Lord above for giving us the privilege of having such a wonderful, talented, and caring father. Dad, we want you to know how proud we are of you. Through your many years of hard work and dedication, you have provided us and our children with a great heritage. Even though you were on the road a lot while we were growing up, we want you to know you are always with us in our hearts. Many nights your beautiful, high, lonesome voice would sing us to sleep as we would listen to your tapes and impatiently wait for our daddy to come home to us. We know you sacrificed a lot, but it is being worth it all. Our father, Ralph Stanley, and his music will always be respected and remembered, for his many years of hard work and dedication is what paved the way for country and bluegrass music today. You're the best. We love you, Dad. Lisa Thomas.
Right now, I've got a little presentation to make, and Ralph, we'll ask you to just come up here and accept this. This is from the friends of Ralph Stanley. A little 50-year watch for some timeless music. Here we go.
Thank you. Thank you. Charlie, I really appreciate this, and you know I always wanted a pocket watch.
I told my mandolin player earlier today, I said I would have to have a PhD in psychology to have any remote understanding of how someone could do that for 50 years, because I have a pretty good idea of what Ralph Stanley does. And it's a very difficult job, and it's a demanding job. You have band changes, and you have a million details to worry about. And how he could have kept that up for 50 years is beyond me.
Thank you.
We're here in Dublin, Virginia, right here at the New River Community College, which we come every year. Have been for the last 7 or 8 years, and as Charlie White just told you, Lord willing, we'll be back next year. Charlie, you're keeping everything going good. Proud of you. Real proud of you, Charlie. Yes, sir.
You stay healthy and don't quit on us, okay?
Oh, I'm not. I've just started.
All right, good. Give him a nice hand, folks. He's doing a great job for us.
What's next? Going on a mountain, so a little cane, oh Lord. See my candy darling, sweet little Liza Jane. Oh, drunk island, ho, honey, ho. See my candy darling, you know I love her so. Wish I had a big white mule corn to feed him on. For the little girl to stay at home and feed him when I'm gone. Oh, the Rocky Island, oh, honey, oh, Lord, Lord. See my candy darling, you know I love her so. Shout your best, I'm gonna buy you a new red dress. Got a little Lily, shout, shout. What in the world you shouting about? How much money does it take? See little Luly's body shake. Take a nickel, it'll take a dime. See little Luly's body shine. I've made a pretty good living, and I doubt if I could get any more work. Well, I know I couldn't because I get all I can handle now. You know. I've liked this part of the country. I've liked home. I didn't see any use to moving into the big cities, and I'd just rather stay right here and be an old timer and a country boy.
I wondered again to my home in the mountains, wherein you certainly don't. I was happy and free, and I looked for my friends, but I never could find them. And I found they were all rank strangers to me.
Everybody I met seemed to be a rank stranger.
Seemed to be a rank stranger. No mother nor dad.
No mother nor dad, not a friend could I see. Not a friend could I see.
They knew not my name.
They knew not my name.
And not their faces. And I found they were all rank strangers to me.
Rank strangers to me.
They've all moved away, instead the voice of a stranger, to a beautiful home by the bright crystal sea. Some beautiful day I'll meet 'em in heaven, where no one will be a stranger to me.
Everybody I met seemed to be a rank stranger.
Seemed to be a rank stranger. No mother nor dad.
No mother nor dad, not a friend could I see. Not a friend could I see.
They knew not my name.
They knew not my name.
And not their faces.
Not their faces.
And I found they were all rank strangers to me.
Rank strangers to me.
Have a great big hand for Dr. Ralph Stanley and Clinch Mountain Boy.
Two things before we go on with the show. Number one, let me explain the camera people here tonight. These folks are doing a documentary on Ralph, and they've been following him around for a couple of years, so they'll be taping tonight. Number two, which is very, very important. Another way that we raise money is that we pass a bucket. We pass more than one bucket. Now, Ralph is good, but as I said before, he ain't cheap. So this is one of the ways that we pay him. He says everything he makes goes to widows and orphans, don't you, Ralph?
Yeah, my wife's a widow and I'm the orphan.
So at least you know where the money's going. Now reach down in your pockets there and don't be stingy with us. When these folks pass the buckets, you know, put something in there. If everybody in here would throw in a couple of dollars, I can pay Ralph and he can buy something to eat on the way home, okay? Put some money in the pot, folks. All right, fellas, it's time for the dance contest. We'll let the little ones come up first. They'll dance until they get a winner. Then we'll get the little ones off the floor and have a dance contest for the older folks.